like to talk.
You want to talk?
You're listening to Black Fawn Distro's Takeover Tuesday, the official podcast of Black Fawn Distribution, broadcasting live across the planet and retransmitted on all major streaming platforms. Tonight's program is brought to you in part by Wellington Brewery's Hellas Lager, Deadly Grounds Coffee, Twisted Teas, and of course Canada's #1 genre film company, Black Fawn Distribution. You wanted the best. Well, they didn't make it, so here's what you get.
It's really not that bad.
You are going to hell.
Here's your host, Benner from Black Fawn Distro.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of Black Fawn Distro's Takeover Tuesday. I'm your host, Benner, as the intro just said. And hey, listen, it is Vicious Fun Day, which is crazy. It's May 3rd, 2022. Vicious Fun is now available right across Canada on Blu-ray. And we couldn't be more pumped to get this movie out. It's one of our favorites. And also, we couldn't be more excited to have our guest here tonight, of course, which I'll get to in a little bit. But I'm, of course, talking about Evan Marsh. He is in the green room. He's giving me the thumbs up right now. I'm pretty sure you can hear me okay, and he's ready to get in here. But of course, we got to do a little bit of housekeeping before we get there. Of course, this is Black Fawn Distro's Takeover Tuesday. We're broadcasting live to Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, and of course, retransmitting on all the major streaming platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe, follow, share, like, do all that stuff. Smash that subscribe button. See, I can't even say it live on air, but whatever you can do to help support the show, we definitely appreciate it. And of course, it helps us out, and as well as myself, but also helps our guests out as well. Shed some light on their awesome projects that they're working on. And hey, that's all worthwhile. It's a good thing, and we definitely appreciate their support as well. Of course, quick shout out to our sponsors. I'm of course talking about Wellington Brewery's Hellas Lager, Deadly Grounds Coffee, and Twisted Teas. Couldn't do the show without them, and we definitely appreciate their support. We've got a great program for you tonight, like I mentioned off the top, and I've got a special couple of special kind of surprises that we're going to do. But of course, like I said at the top of the hour, we've got Mr. Evan Marsh here, which I love introducing him like that. He's one of the most genuine guys you'll ever meet as far as just talking to. He's an amazingly talented actor, and of course the star of Vicious Fun. He told me not to give him a great big crazy intro, so I'm going to do just that, because that's how we do things here excuse me, on Black Fawn Distro's Takeover Tuesday. And I can't wait to jump into some stories from set, as well as Evan's experience working with such a crazy ensemble cast of funny, talented, and just I don't know what else you would call this cast, but they're from all kinds of all walks of life, all backgrounds, and it's actually it's amazing to see them work together in this film, which is Vicious Fun, available now from Black Fawn Distro across Canada and through most retailers, including Sunrise Records, Cinema One. You can also order it online through Black Fawn Distribution, as well as on through Unobstructed View as well. So anyway, before we get there, you know the drill. We got to hit the news.
Top story. Top story.
We'll give you the world. We'll give you the world.
This may be the most important decision of your life.
Can't stand the heat. Get out of the kitchen.
Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
You can't stand the heat. Get out of the kitchen.
Top story.
And remember, we care. We care.
There are certain inherent risks that come with the territory.
Top story. Top story.
We'll give you the world.
Top story.
Okay, and we're back with the news, of course. Listen, our top story today is that it is Vicious Fun Day, of course. So like I said at the top of the hour, this is where we tell everyone that we've actually just released Vicious Fun on Blu-ray across Canada. And of course, I've got it right back here on my shelf. And I'm going to give everyone at home a quick look at it. This is the Vicious Fun. This is the Blacklist edition. This comes with a limited edition slipcase, which was designed by our friends over at Small Dog Design. And of course, there's our guest tonight, right on the front cover, as well as the rest of the cast as well. But I just wanted to give everyone a quick rundown of this. We do have a special Blacklist edition of this film that's available through our website. We only have 100 of them. There's a few of them left. Anyone who was a Blacklist member before, their discount has actually, they've already ordered all of them. So there are a few left at regular price, and you can definitely check them out online at blackfawndistribution.com. And just give everyone just a quick taste of this. This is, like I said, the retro sleeve. Taking this off, if you do order the Blacklist, this is the alternate cover artwork that comes out underneath. And as you can see, signed by director Cody Callahan in sweet, sweet gold ink. Opening this up, you also get a Vicious Fun patch, which is an iron-on from our friends over at Patches for You. And of course, a Vinyl Hell sticker, a VHS sticker of Vicious Fun. And of course, we'll give everyone a quick look inside. Here's the inside of the disc as well. So make sure you pick that up. It's available on our website, of course. And as some bonuses, you also get these character cards featuring Joel and Carrie and the rest of the killers in the movie. And you also get a pair of Vicious Fun branded limited edition chopsticks, which all has a tie into the movie. And of course, last but not least, you also get the Bob Neese Chameleon Kit, which is features a whole bunch of disguises that you can use to blend into society, but we don't guarantee that they'll work either in public or at home. Anyway, so moving right along, I just wanted to let everyone know that we couldn't be more thankful to have been at this past weekend's event, which I'm talking about Shock Stock, or Shack Stack, as the kids like to say it. We just got back from here. Black Fun Distro was our first event in 2022. It's only been our second event in the last 2 years, or third event, sorry, in the last 2 years. It was really, really great to see everyone. And a big shout out to Jake and the rest of his team for putting on such an awesome show. It was down at the beautiful Ramada Hotel in London, Ontario. And it was just such a great experience to see everyone there. And thanks everyone for stopping by the booth and shooting the shit with us and just chatting about movies. We missed a lot of you guys over the last couple of years. Obviously, it's been hard to get out of the house. But ultimately it was such a great event, and it just felt like the next year. It didn't feel like anything had changed. It felt like everything just kind of fell right back into place. Like a slipper on a foot, like a hand inside a glove, whatever you want to use as an analogy. It was just an amazing time and a really awesome weekend for everyone involved. So thanks so much, guys, for having us. We hope to see you next year. Coming up next for us, we're going to head down to Niagara Falls. We're going to hit up Niagara Falls Comic-Con in Niagara Falls, Ontario. Of course, we like to see a lot of our American fans kind of pop across the border too. So that should be fun. That's happening on June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. At the Niagara Falls Convention Center in Niagara Falls, Ontario. So make sure you fly down and come say hello. Of course, I always get convinced that to bring the Black Fawn Bar down to Niagara Falls, which is always a challenge, but worthwhile for sure. So we'll be bringing that down this June. Come down to see us in Niagara Falls. Now, moving right along, we didn't do this on the last episode of the show because we did our special Hot Stove from Hell episode featuring the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. But I'm of course talking about the Black Fawn Distro Fried Chicken Sandwich Report. That's where I go out and that's where I go out and eat a fried chicken sandwich and tell you how good it is. But listen, after a couple of disappointing weeks due to KFC not being able to make a proper fried chicken sandwich, I'm happy to report that I went out and tried Mary Brown's new sandwich, which is called the Nashville Mary. Here's a picture of me trying the sandwich in the top corner there. And look, it looks are deceiving. I wasn't too sure. I took this out of the wrapper, but guess what? I'm happy to report good news, folks. This is actually a pretty solid sandwich and it's pretty tasty. It doesn't have a lot of spice on it, but it's got this seasoning on it. It's pretty good. And it's not like a tasty spice, but it's like it's not a hot spice, but it's a tasty spice, if that makes sense. My only complaint is I like maybe the slightly bigger bun like they have on the regular Big Mary sandwich at Mary Brown's, and maybe a little lettuce in there I think would go a long way as well. But you know what? Those are small gripes. I was pretty impressed. It was $12, but You also got a tub of taters with it. And I also just like saying tub of taters on air, but it's got the taters have the same seasoning that the breading of the sandwich had as well. And you got a bonus pop with it for $12. All that being said, solid tastiness, pretty good deal. And Mary Brown's is a Canadian chain, so it gets a 3.5 out of 5. So take that, KFC. No more KFC for this guy. You're done. You're cut off. It's Mary Brown's all the way. Let's take a look at the standings. Okay, so we've got in the first, second, and third place a three-way tie still. Coco Chicken from Guelph. We've got Royal Electric from Guelph, and we also have Tall Tree Sandwich Co. from Hamilton, Ontario. They have a 4.5 rating out of 5 for all three of their sandwiches. I still have not yet tried a 5 out of 5 chicken sandwich. So if you know where that's kicking around somewhere, let me know where it is. Drop us a line or hit us up on social media, and we will try and get to that as soon as we can, as long as it's not a million miles away. But stranger things have happened. Rounding out the number 4, we've got, I guess, which would be second place, is Cluck Clucks from Ontario, and then Zinger Chick in Guelph as well as number 3. So, and Zinger Chick, that's the name of a real restaurant as well. So, and like I said, I mean, why the hell do we review fried chicken sandwiches to begin with?
It just tastes so damn good.
All right, and enough fun and games. Let's talk about our guest tonight. I'm, of course, talking about Canadian actor Evan Marsh, who is the star of the hit horror comedy Vicious Fun. It's, like I said, a million times already, but I'm going to say it again. The movie is now on Blu-ray. It's available across Canada. Make sure you check it out if you can. And listen, let's check the resume here. Evan has starred in a number of films, including festival hit Riot Girls, while also becoming part of the DC cinematic universe when he took on the role of Burke Breyer in Shazam. He's had a frequent reoccurring roles on the shows such as Working Moms and Northern Rescue, and he has a variety of new projects on the horizon as well. Of course, Evan is the star of Vicious Fun, the new horror comedy from director Cody Callahan and the Black Fawn Films team. Evan plays Joel, an insufferable horror critic from 1983 who must combat a self-help group of serial killers before it's too late. Please believe me when I say this, insufferable is not the word I use to describe Evan. It's only the word I just used to describe his character Joel from Vicious Fun. So I can't wait for you guys to meet this guy. But listen, we got Evan Marsh in the house. He's live on the other side, and we'll get to chatting with him right after this.
Need a ride?
As far as I can.
Hop in. This is what you said to me. A group of serial killers attending a 12-step meeting tried to kill me and my accomplice before disappearing, leaving us with 3 dead bodies?
No, 2 dead bodies.
It's one word, right? Bullshit.
Sorry to interrupt your meeting.
Thanks so much for coming out. How do you maintain your lifestyle and keep your urges under control?
I murdered the same victim repeatedly.
Just give me a mask.
Have you ever bitten into a kidney?
What is this, some kind of support group for serial killers?
Why are you here? It's complicated.
Thought you had our little group sessions on lockdown. Are you Skinner, a slicer dicer, or a corpse humper?
How did you get in here?
I got drunk at the bar. I passed out in a closet for a few hours, okay?
911.
Yes. Oh my God, it's horrible.
Now, Bonnie told me that people are coming here to try and kill him. And maybe us.
What? Us? Why?
Tony!
Quarter! It got really messy. I like it messy sometimes.
Smack in the face. I'm like a coiled snake.
Gentlemen, we are about to have a lot of fun tonight.
Hey, I didn't even gag.
All right, and we're back. Hey, that's Vicious Fun from Black Fawn Distribution, out and out, and I'm joined, obviously, by my guest tonight, Evan Marsh. Evan, man, how you doing? Thanks for joining the program.
Absolutely, man. I'm doing great. It's such a I get lost in you talking, and you just that intro and everything is so great. I'm happy to come on here and be a part of it.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate the kind words for sure. You should tell Chad and Cody that, man. They're always making fun of me because I talk so much. But
it's exactly what you want in your position, though. I couldn't do what you do. I'll put it that way. I get told what to say, and I just have a long time to memorize it.
yeah. I'm not reading scripts. It's going to be ad libs for life, right? But listen, man. Thanks so much, and congratulations on the film coming out. I know it seems weird because our company actually put it out, but it's still super cool to see it. Make the whole run. You guys started shooting this film in 2019, which was a different planet, a different universe back then, and then seeing it kind of go through all of the film festivals, and it got a great response from Sitges and all the other festivals it played, like such as Panic Fest, and then it got picked up by Shudder, and it's been kind of cool to see it just still have, with all these kind of obstacles in the way, it still kind of comes out the other end, and it's got a great response. It's currently certified fresh and Rotten Tomatoes, and now it's on store shelves in your home country. Like, how does that resonate with you? Like, how do you feel about that?
It's for me, it's about obviously getting cast. You get cast early, and you're a part of this story before you ever see anything. And it's so well written and unique. And I felt like I was a little nervous. Like, I don't want to do this a disservice. I want this movie to be able to go where it can go. And even coming out essentially right in the thick of everything, it's great to see its success and its awards it's won, and the Rotten Tomatoes fan stuff. Like, it makes me happy because, like I said, I felt like this movie really could do something when I first got cast. So I'm really happy that it did.
So let's take a step back to that then, because I actually don't know that story. I usually kind of come in on the process and the Black Fawn stuff like a little later down the road, when everything's sort of like the machine's humming along and
for sure
people are on set. But how did you first get involved with with Black Fawn, with Cody as a director, and I guess there's just the project in general?
Yeah, I mean, it came through like any other as an audition. But my agent at the time, Michael White, who's one of the most fantastic agents out there, he's really good. He reps Ari Millen, and he knows the team very well. So it was like a bit of an inside scoop. This is a project I've known about. This is a role I've known about for a little while. Lay down your tape and see what you can do. And what I wish I had done, or I will do, is I'll happily give you a snippet of my audition tape, because personally, as an actor, I grew up watching all the SNL best ofs and stuff, and I would skip right ahead to their audition tape. That stuff gets me really excited. So I'd be happy to share it. But and then I got onto it. I got a call back. We went in, did a chemistry read, and Cody and I just chatted over. We met at a coffee shop and just chatted about films and kind of our experiences and stuff. And I got the role. And I mean, I don't want to be as cliche as saying the rest is history, but here we are.
Cool. Before we go any further, if anyone out there, we got a pretty good audience tonight. If anyone has any questions for Evan or myself, or for Vicious Fun, please type them in, throw them in the comment section below on whatever platform you're tuning in on, and we'll try and get to them as soon as we can. Of course, we're broadcasting live to Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. So please let your comments be known, and we'll try and get some answers for you. You're game for a couple questions, right, Evan?
Absolutely.
Okay, right on.
Absolutely.
So now here's the thing about the film is that, it's such an interesting, fun premise, right? Because it does kind of like, it's a retro film, it's a comedy. Both of those two things are kind of hard to work together with, just because they're both challenging inside the horror genre.
Yeah.
But what specifically drew you to the project? Like, I mean, it's a tasty role, of course, but was there anything in the script where you were like, this is different, this feels unique?
Exactly that, though. Exactly that. This is different. Like, I couldn't word that better, because it's the kind of thing where, and to be fair, I think early on, certainly in the early, like when I got the script, we weren't leaning into the comedy as hard as maybe the final project, because of the way it turned out on set, how funny Christopher Bowman and Mark Gibson was, and John Frey as the cops, like all that stuff. A lot of improv and stuff took it away. But honestly, the log line of just talking about the self-help group for serial killers, and then Joel has to find his way out. It's just like right away, I was like, this is something I would watch. This is something that if you opened up Shudder or opened up whatever, and that was there, I want to watch that. And as much as you're just happy to get any work, real cool things that excite you and are something that you'd want to watch don't come as often as I'd like. So right away, that was just, I couldn't wait to try to give my tape.
Yeah. And it's challenging too, right? Because you obviously always want to work on the best projects you can find, right? But as a working actor, I mean, sometimes you can't be as choosy as you want to be, right? But
sometimes you have to pretend you really like the thing that you did, and this one's a lot easier to pretend.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, of course, like, I know you mentioned before we got on the air, you're like, hey man, like, I don't necessarily like talking about myself all the time, which is understandable. Not a lot of people do. That's why I like to talk about other people for sure. But let's pivot a bit and talk about other people, and let's talk about like the other cast members that you got to work with, because this is such an ensemble piece.
Yeah.
There's a lot of names on the poster because they play such an intricate part to the story. And then there's a whole bunch of other actors and actresses that sort of like play into the peripheral characters too, which are just as important. You mentioned the cops, of course. So we'll try and keep the spoilers light for sure in this episode for anyone who hasn't seen it. But
there's cops in it, guys. There's cops.
There's cops, yeah, which means that there's trouble. And but I mean, you had such a great cast of co-stars with you, like, I mean, including, Amber Goldfarb, who played Carrie. That's probably who you shared the most scenes with, I think, in the film. But what was it like working with everyone from like Julian Richings to like David Koechner to like Ari? Like what was that like?
It was a once in a lifetime opportunity, because for me, that was one of the projects I've worked on where each character were so important to the story. Like every character is, but I'm saying in such a unique individual way. So it was the first time I remember I went and met Cody after I'd gotten the part, and we went to a wardrobe thing, and him and I were talking, and it was like, oh, you're playing. Oh, this is great. Nice to meet you. Like, and you can start seeing it fall into place. And I got to give hats off to Chad and Cody, and maybe anyone I'm leaving out, on who they cast, including me. But like, they, in my opinion, nailed the roles. The way I read the script, the way that Fritz was, I think Julian Riching brought so much to that. I think Robert Maillet as Mike, monster of a man, the sweetest guy, literally the sweetest guy you'll ever meet, which is brilliant. And the cops, like, that was my most fun on set, was those days with those cops, and even in between the filming, how fun they were and how open they were to play. And that was awesome for me. And then Ari was the one that I saw written differently. And then Ari came in, and it was like, it blew me away in a way that I couldn't see Bob being played. And I don't, spoiler or not, all the reviews talk about how exceptional Ari was at that role. And I couldn't agree more. He phenomenal. And of course, Amber, who I have to thank a lot for, in my opinion, the success of a lot of our scenes, because I'm a bit wild sometimes. I like to be throwing things, and she really can stay strong to the story and her character, and making sure that arc is there even in every little scene. So that helped me a lot, while she was able to totally stick with the comedy and everything. And man, it's crazy how many I can name in a row that's exceptional to. I'm getting carried away. Away.
Yeah. And of course, like, I mean, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the other actors in the film, but of course,
Sean Beck,
Sean Beck,
David Koechner,
because and Sean, I mean, for those, if anyone who doesn't know Sean, he's literally the nicest, like he's probably one of the most polite people I've ever met. Yeah. And then you see him in here, and he's like talking about like, like eating.
It was cool behind the scenes seeing him get into Hideo and get into that and being the thing. And then in between, he's like FaceTiming his daughter, and he's being this adorable dad. And it's just so wild to see both sides of it when they click it on and off.
Yeah. And
I'm pretty much Joel. So there's not a big change there.
Did you, and sorry. And of course, Alexa as well was who plays plays your roommate Sarah in the film, also phenomenal as well. And it was just funny for me, like it was like when you change from setting to setting in the film, and again we'll keep the spoilers light, but just the characters that kind of just emerge and like come out of nowhere are really funny. But Ari is like, we'd obviously seen him in a bunch of stuff, but in our own films with I'll Take Your Dead, and then he was in The Oak Room. And then he was in this as well. And I was like, really, Cody? Like, I mean, like, cause they're close friends. They grew up together and stuff. I was like, this is like, and he's like, no. It's like, I'm pretty sure, man. Like, I think it'll be good. And like phenomenal. And I guess like the dance sequence in this film was I didn't know this until recently was ad lib. Like it was
completely
just
like there wouldn't be you couldn't find a script with any writing of any dance moves there. I wasn't there that day, unfortunately, but I missed that whole filming of that. But I'd like to see all the stuff that hit the cutting room floor.
Well, I can tell you, like on the Blu-ray, there are some special features, including there's an extended dance sequence on the Blu-ray,
I love it.
as well as some bloopers and some deleted scenes that obviously unfortunately didn't make the final cut. But I've talked to Cody about this before, and in chat, and they said it was really hard to cut this film down to the runtime that it has, just because there was so much stuff like gold that you could put in wherever you want. I will say this about the Bob Neese Chameleon kit. It does come with as you can see, it comes with a real estate card, some pieces of gum, a surgical mask, and a quarter in here for your jukebox needs if you ever do need to have a dance off in the film. So very important that you get this as well, along with the film. But how was it like? You mentioned earlier like about SNL and going to like the audition tapes and being a fan of like sketch comedy and sort of stuff.
One thing I think that most, like if you watch Inside the Actor Studio and stuff, I'm always upset that part seems to be skipped. Maybe that's just the actor in me, but it seems like a crucial part. Obviously, when you're past the point and all these actors it's offers, but that early on stuff, and SNL is a great example. Like Will Ferrell's and Jimmy Fallon's, I adore watching that stuff.
Yeah, and it's always unique to see like what they put on those tapes, right? Because a lot of them are like their impressions or their characters that they've come up with to kind of try and get on, what is it, the longest running sketch comedy show in history, I think, right?
It's gotta be.
So having said that, how was it working with David Koechner? I mean, that guy's like,
Koechner's a force, put it that way, and in all the right ways. He showed up as what's his character's name? It's not Jeremy. What is David's name? Anyways, it'll come to me right halfway through this. But that character is so in control of that meeting, and then
from Zachary, right? From
Zachary, thank you. Yeah. Coming in to play Zach, and he brought it in a way that made it really easy for me to be like, oh, this feels weird because he takes such control. But it also brought such that scene had different levels the way he came in and took control. And again, the amount of stuff that didn't make it in, that he was kind of like egging on Mike and kind of ticking Mike off and all that stuff that hit the editing room floor. But he was just, it was, I think, 3 days straight with him. And I got to learn so much from him in between because he's a really nice guy, really open guy. If you're a fan of comedy, you're a fan of David Koechner. And then in the scenes, most of my stuff in that scene, if you watch it, is not a lot of dialogue, it's reaction. So I just got to watch multiple times of him and then everyone else in the circle killing it.
Awesome. Well, listen, let's go to a couple questions. I got a couple good ones here to kind of tie into what we're talking about. One was there, from our long time listeners of the show, the OHFP, were there any notable scenes or improvs that you wish had made the cut for Vicious Fun? Is there anything I guess that you can think of that? And I'll tell you if it's on the Blu-ray, because I know what's kind of on there. So
well, I know I did have to give approval to the bloopers and the I think deleted scenes or stuff. So I saw most of that, but it's easily for me all the stuff with, because I'm in the scene with all the cops, but the main one-on-one with me is Christopher Bowman, and I think there is one on the Blu-ray where he goes, it happened in a Chinese takeout or Chinese restaurant, and he just snaps on me about the dim sum. And it broke me. And it was that stuff constantly where I'm like, okay, we got to do an angle where you maybe can't see me laugh, because he just let him go. And there was that scene again could have went on for 25 minutes longer than it did, with brilliant stuff, but you got to make a movie.
My some of my favorite scenes are with Mark Gibson, because he plays such an oaf in that, in that like the quasi fake cop tough guy, and he's so
it's funny because I first met him at this barber shop that they'd sent us to get, like, I think my hair was long because we shot the ending first, and he was there to get, I think he had a beard and he was getting the stash done and then cleaned up, and walking in and seeing him right away, and he was like, oh, I'm playing this cop, whatever his character's name was. And it was like he was actually like a handsome, he had the V-neck on, the stubble, he just looked like really handsome dude. And then sure enough, we show up on the day and he's like tucked in this oof of a cop with a bad mustache, and it was a night and day. Really night and day.
Awesome. And just another question as well from Alexander, just piping in here saying, Evan, you appeared so natural in the role. Was there any ad-libbing on your part, or was anything pre-scripted, like for your role specifically?
A lot of it was pre-scripted, right? But I think I'll take credit and give credit to Cody too, because Cody let you go. And I can trust in a director like Cody that, hey, if 98% of this doesn't work, I'm still down to play. And so Cody really let things go as long as you're staying to the story. But yeah, there's a good amount of ad lib in there. I think one of my favorite ad libs that I don't even remember doing on the day was when when I met Bob and I'm at the bar with Ari, who plays Bob, and he says something like, this guy's never had sex in his life. And the lines, he's probably had sex with like one girl. And it's like, that just came in and I don't even remember doing it. We did a bunch of other takes and that made it in there. And that's one of those that actually got me to laugh at my own thing.
That scene is one of my favorites too. Just
that was my audition scene.
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah, that wasn't, I'm not sure. There was one scene. There's the phone call to Sarah saying he's a serial killer, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And I think that scene was, I had got the script and I said, this is a brilliant scene. I'd like to show them this. And I don't think they requested it in the audition. And I threw that together in some way of doing shots, because it just seemed so Joel. Like, that's so Joel trying to do this thing, but he still can't quite drink. And Bob's so much cooler than him. And that felt like the best scene in the movie to showcase it.
When you're trying all the different drinks too, is one of my like
the smash cuts,
like the smash cuts, as well as just before when you get you try the it's like the martini and then you switch to whiskey and it just goes downhill from there, right? So
Bob did say, you know what, you got to give Bob credit. He said, I think you should slow down there, Dave.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was just and you kind of just mentioned it there too, was just like most of the script, there's a script obviously in place. It's not like you showed up with nothing to work from, but also Cody allowing you to kind of just explore and sort of like jump into the role and kind of do your thing with it, which is, which can result in a lot of really awesome surprises, right? But the character itself, like one of the things you mentioned, Bob getting a lot of great reviews as well, but even yourself of being, there's certainly this character arc in this movie that almost shouldn't exist in a film like this. That's a horror comedy. And I don't think in a lot of horror comedies, it's really thought of like this, but there's a real distinct character arc from you being this insufferable character when you first meet Joel, when he's at the very, very start of the movie, and then going through sort of this process and dealing with all these killers and coming at the end as a kind of a changed person. And is that something you really kind of like, how did you develop that and look at that? Because obviously, films are shot all out of order all the time.
Yeah.
Is it something that you just kind of, did you rely on Cody for that? Or did you kind of say, listen, we got to take this character from point A to point B and we kind of have to be diligent?
There was that was there again with Cody being so open with it, but I really got to give the credit to it being such a polished script even when I first got it. Mm-hmm. A little changes here and there along the way, but it was easy to see okay, this isn't just let's go for the laughs. This isn't just, oh, here's an opportunity to have a slasher or a jump scare. It was a story that had a great arc to Amber's character. It had and then Joel, it was so clear cut because he's such this loser roommate thing, and at the end he's so clearly somewhere else. So then the fun for me as an actor is just, okay, oh, we're doing this scene today, great, this is kind of where I'll be, let's play that. Like we shot, maybe the first scene was she finally opens the jail door and I go, and like that's day one, and I got this, my arm's been, never mind, I don't want to wreck anything. And it's just like, that's game on, go. Okay, I'm here now, right? Like that's the tough part, but the fun part of the shoot. And again, that the script is just, it was there, so I could do it easily. And Cody was very good, and Chad, I got to give Chad a lot of credit at kind of mapping it out and going, here's this is that, and remember we just came from that. Let's go.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like, obviously there's a lot of comedy in the film, but there's also these touching moments where you have a couple of moments with Carrie, who's of course played by Amber Goldfarb, as well as Sarah, and it's just like it's interesting to me when I was watching it, and of course I'm biased. I mean, I work for the company that's releasing the movie. All right, just for the interest of transparency for any 60 minutes out there, right? But I'm just like the fact that the three characters were sort of like built up from those scenes and those kind of intertwining relationships or connections throughout the film was pretty interesting, because it would be easy to write off the Sarah character, and it would be easy to write off or get away from Carrie as being the character that she is. And I thought that was pretty interesting and fluid between all three.
I think there was a weight off of my shoulders too, because it never felt like it was Joel. It was Joel and then pieces around, because the Carrie character was massive, and Amber and I really tackled that on like a 2-person premise, and she will kind of end up here and I will kind of end up there. And there was a lot of discussion on that, because she's an unbelievable actress. So that was, and then a lot easier for me to help me get there, because we kind of helped create this understanding with each other. Yeah.
And Amber's a force in this movie too. I think you mentioned that previously, but I know a lot of people watched this film and was just like, holy shit, like Carrie's so cool. And I was like, and that's, which is awesome. Right. So I'm hoping to have her on the program at some point, because I want to dive into how she saw things, because maybe she saw things differently. Right.
Well, that was without a doubt the closest or the most important role cast, like mine and hers, but I had been cast and I didn't know. And it was like, who are they going to get for this? Like, is she going to be super tough and super scary, or is it going to be like an unexpected thing? And it was very, okay, what's this Carrie character going to be? And luckily we struck gold with Amber, and it was awesome.
Did you guys have to do did you guys have to audition together just to see if that
we did a chemistry read together? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did it with, sorry,
no, go ahead.
I did it with I think another actress or two, and it was the kind of thing where you just know, you just kind of know, like you're like, oh, that's what we've been looking for. Nice to see it versus me having to walk in the room and leave. It was a little bit interesting to see it kind of on the other side, but it was very different. Her and my chemistry together. Everyone else is great, but you kind of just knew.
Yeah. And the fact that the relationship in the film is so different, that it's more of a fish out of water and teacher student type of thing, where you're way in over your head and you're just trying to get out of these situations, where she's a little bit more seasoned with the experience that she's had in her life as a character, right? So it's not just the other dynamics, like the cliche dynamics that would play into something like this.
And that plays a part, like you said, into that relationship, because when I first read the script, it was like, oh, are they gonna end up, like, what is this relationship? Do they end up lovers at the end? And it was like, okay, I was very happy that this it felt a lot more like big sister, little brother vibe. And
Yeah.
maybe I'm not supposed to release this information, but Amber had her own backstory quietly that she had a little brother that was killed. So spoilers, not that I got killed, but I released that, and that's cool because it's been released. And so that all of a sudden I understood where she was coming from, and that helped click that dynamic her and I had throughout the film.
Okay, awesome. Well, listen, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about too. Of course, anyone out there, if you have questions for Evan, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. We're of course broadcasting live to Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. And of course, if you're catching the retransmission of this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, we definitely appreciate it for sure as well. But listen, you've done other stuff, not just Vicious Fun, and I wanted to talk to you about doing stuff in, for Riot Girls and for Shazam, just because I just had Julian on the program, Julian Richings, and I was talking to him about like the differences between working on like, more, smaller films and then going from that to like big blockbusters and sort of what the vibe was for that. And I was just interested to hear your take on that because, you'd done Shazam, I think a couple of years before, or maybe a year before.
About a year, I think.
My sense of time is all out of whack now, but yeah, mine. and then did this one. But what do you think the differences are, or what did you see the differences are being between the two projects like that?
Obviously, the biggest difference is, the size of the set or the stunt that this is doing on the bigger ones. But I actually had this moment when I was on set of Shazam where I kind of like looked around. And it was like, it's still just a director. It's still just this cast. And it's not very different, like cameras and stuff. And it was like, okay, like this, it's so similar. It's the same family. You know what I mean? When you're doing it, everything else is the release and the amount of fans that this superhero thing might have versus no one's going to know Riot Girls or Giant Little Ones, and that's going to have its own kind of fun to it through the festival circuit and everything. But when you show up and you're there to work, it's weirdly just the same.
Now you had something on your there's a scene in Shazam where they drop a truck out of the sky. I know on your Instagram you said was one of your favorite scenes to shoot. What can you tell us about that scene? So basically it's your character and the other, like the bully, right? And
my brother, the guy that plays my brother, Carson McCormick, good buddy of mine. And I believe, I'm not a big car guy, but I believe it's a Ford F-150 that I drive. And at this point in the movie, Billy Batson has he can become Shazam, and we've already been picking on him X amount of times. So we get out in the car and we turn around. And the truck you just saw me park is gone, and I'm like pressing the button, like the horn button, and we can hear it, and then it just falls out of the sky. So it's like he had picked it way up. And filming that, I'm like, okay, how are we going to cheat this or whatever? Or if nothing else, are we going to film me and my buddy Carson looking, and they'll superimpose the shot of that? And they just straight up had a truck that looked the same to look at, apparently pretty gutted, so it was built to fall like that,
right?
But they just heaved it up 100 feet at least, and they knew how far you could stand because of the fake glass and everything. So we just got to shoot that and do it with like 3 different trucks. It was incredible. It was like there's the biggest difference though. That's what I mean. Like the stunts like that, I'm not doing that on some really trying hard to get into TIFF little movie. Like I'm going to be doing that on Shazam. That's the biggest difference.
Right. So basically, Cody, if you're listening, we need more trucks dropped out of the sky, right?
Truck droppings, Cody. I've been texting him that. He doesn't seem to reply. I think he changed his number, but
wouldn't be the first time, right? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, that's awesome. I know, obviously, do you think that character will come back? Do you know if in the DC universe, or to be decided?
I think
or no comment or whatever.
No comment while because I don't know that's such big movies of what you're allowed to say and what you're not. So why don't you all go check out that movie as well as buy the Blu-ray of Vicious Fun that's just released. Hey, can I get the one? Does Cody sign all the Blacklist ones?
So Cody only signed the Blacklist ones, so there was only 100. We sold most of them. So our Blacklist members, if you're already a Blacklist member, you automatically get first dibs. And then once those are gone, we do save a couple for new members and that sort of thing as well. So I've got a few left. So
Cool.
yes, if you're asking if I kept you one, yes, we did.
That's perfect. But I want him to have signed it. Otherwise, I don't want it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's all ready to go.
Because he won't text me back. I can't get it to happen.
I'll let him know, man. I know he's a difficult cat to reach sometimes, but
busy man actually.
Listen, I wanted to, so we've got a special, I didn't tell you about this. So I'm not sure if you've watched the program before, but we do have a rapid fire section where it's a bunch of random questions. Are you down for doing that?
Is it like one word answers or is it like full questions?
It can be. It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. All
right, I'm down. I like it.
Okay.
You got to back
Alrighty. So, I just have to reach back here and where's this? So I've got my Wellington beer here. Of course, this section of the program, our rapid fire section, is brought to you by Wellington Brewery's Hellas Lager. Opening this up, here's a picture of the can right here.
Me too.
Hellas Lager, Hellas, yeah. But you can obviously take advantage of Wellington by frequenting their local Guelph brewery in Guelph here. They are the longest, I think they're the oldest microbrewery in all of Canada. Or you can swing by the LCBO or wherever you pick up your adult beverages and pick up some tins of Hellas Lager. It's a delicious, easy drinking lager. This is kind of my halftime as well, so that's why I need a little bit of a drink to get to the end here. So
it's the perfect sponsor.
Oh man, that's good. And we drank a lot of these at Shockstock as well. Thanks, Shockstock. Appreciate you. Okay, so this is basically where we just jump in and I ask you 5 random questions and you give me the best answers that you can. They can be as descriptive as you want, or they can be as short as you want. It's completely up to you. But they do kind of have to be correct. Okay, so here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, rapid fire. Yes or no? Question number 1. The new Top Gun sequel, Top Gun Maverick, drops in theaters on May 27th. Are you pumped to see this film?
Hell yes.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect.
I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. Miles Teller, I believe, right? This is the one. Yeah, this is the one that keeps getting pushed back. Hell yes. The answer is hell yes. Final answer.
Okay, perfect. Rapid fire number 2. You got to pick one from any and all universes. Who would you pick as your favorite superhero of all time?
Oh my goodness. See, like, if I were to pick someone like Thor, I'm not actually picking Chris Hemsworth. That's just this version. So I'd have to go all around Spider-Man. It feels kind of Batman maybe, but Spider-Man is just, he's the best, man.
Any particular Spider-Man or just Spider-Man, the character in general?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's what I mean. The comic character in general.
Okay, gotcha.
But they're an equal tie with maybe Toby winning by a little bit.
Okay. Cause he's the OG, right?
Yeah, exactly. He did it.
Did you like watching No Way Home? Did you have a lot of fun watching that flick?
Yeah, it was. I was lucky that the theater we went to was a good theater, and people were like clapping when Andrew Garfield came out, and it's like, this is cool because you could. That's part of the fun here. This is the whole thing that COVID kind of took away from these releases.
Yeah, totally. I went to that. I went to see that with my girlfriend, and I kind of knew. I didn't know this. I didn't know any spoilers, but like I sort of had heard things, you know,
for sure,
And so, but she doesn't follow any of that shit. Like she loves those movies, but she's like, I'm too busy to follow all that stuff, right? And so we went to see the movie, like things would happen, and she just started hitting me like in the arm because she was like, "What the hell? Like, what the hell? Like, what? Like, what?
Yeah,
this person's in it." And I was just like, "Did you not know that?"
But see, that's that ignorance is bliss.
Blown away. Like, it was super.
That's
fun.
Like, it's great that she doesn't follow it, doesn't know, because I never ever watch trailers anymore. And because I've went into enough movies where, like, I remember I went into Hell or High Water and it was just like, I don't know what this is about. And it blew me away. And then I watched the trailer after and I was like, well, I would have been kind of prepared for this ending with blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, so I don't watch anything anymore. And then you can have those experiences close to your girlfriend where it's like, holy shit.
Yeah. And it's just a cool like vibe. Like I remember theaters being packed and it being like an experience and a collective sort of thing, right? But that's awesome. So I'm killing time for that. I had to expand that question because rapid fire 3 you already know the answer to, and that is memory game. In an unused scene from Vicious Fun, Detective Doyle informs you that this dish from the Chinese restaurant is delicious. What dish was he referring to? Of course, you already answered this earlier in the program, but if the answer is of course dim sum.
Yeah.
So in replacement of this, can you tell us a funny story from set, maybe like just something that comes to mind?
What I'll do is I'll toot my own horn one more time of an ad lib that I'm proud of. and that was the listing of the girls that I'm hanging out with that I turned down because I can see all these girls, and that was just on the day. That was towards the end of our shoot, so I'm like as comfy with Cody and the set and this character as I can be. And I didn't remember doing that, but it's those names, and then I think Carl came out, and it was like, oh no, that's a guy's name, Carl. And I just like that made it into the movie. And that was I think there was a bunch more names that we tried or a bunch more things that we did. But that whole scene there is literally Joel waits. You know what I mean? Like Joel waits in anticipation for, and so we just we got some time here to kill. We might as well do something here. And again, it sounds narcissistic or something, but like that was another good time. I had a good laugh. And Christopher Bowman's when he says the only way you're finishing that without me is if I drop dead, or sorry, Bob says the only way we're finishing this drink without you is if you drop dead, and he goes, I hope not, because my stepdaughter Susan or whatever is all I have. That's so not in the script, and that's my favorite line in the whole movie. Like, so not even a close second.
So that line got the biggest laugh when we did the premiere at Blood in the Snow, and it was like I always thought the line was funny. But it was just like, I don't know if it just caught the audience at that right time, right? You know what I mean?
It was
and like
too
the
real.
whole,
it was kind of
the
like
roof blew off the roof blew off the place. Like, I will say this too. Just we're speaking that scene. We did this retro cover, obviously, and we always do this on the side. So I don't know if you can see that, but obviously it's Vicious Fun. But there's something else that's crossed out there, which is
Falcon Crest. That's
Falcon
great.
Crest.
That's
Falcon
awesome.
Crest.
Come on, Sarah.
All right, so moving on. This isn't very much. Somebody, you know what? I had a comment on the YouTube page a couple weeks ago. It said the rapid fire shouldn't be called rapid fire. It should be called like walking fire or something, or meandering fire.
Good one, man. Great comment.
Just want to give a shout out to that guy. Thanks, man. We do what we want to do here on this show. That's why it's my show, man.
Okay, let's do a couple.
Get your own podcast.
You know what? We're gonna improv here, and you just wrap it. We'll do quick ones. One quick answer. I'll start just quick ones.
All right, here we go. So rapid fire. Tell us more. Hypothetically, of course. Let's say there's a sequel to Vicious Fun. Where would you like to see the story for Joel and Carrie to go?
Good question. Because I think that Joel took such a big leap into that final scene where they're at the drive-in that it's like, is he still there? Is he any cooler? Does he just think he's cooler? But I think there needs to be answers to Mr. Midnight. It still needs to be strongly through Carrie and her motives. And then I think that allows for whatever can come and Joel to kind of still have that comedic vibe because he's just being taken along again. But
gotcha.
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. And one of the first times, I don't know, you probably don't remember this. One of the first times I met you, we were watching Raptors basketball playoff game in the little production office when we were shooting Vicious Fun. I was there for like one day.
Oh,
you probably don't remember this.
A basketball game together?
Yeah, we went to a basketball game together, man. Courtside seats. I remember
that. I walked in. You were like at the back, like two desks in there.
Yeah. I don't know what I was doing.
Who was playing? Because it was a big game. Do you remember?
So it was 2019.
It was the Kawhi year.
It was the Kawhi year, and it wasn't a playoff game. It was. I think it might have been
a playoff game.
It wasn't a playoff game because you shot in November, right?
December,
so it was that season now, or December, yeah. Anyway, that's not my question. My question is this: recently. I know you're a basketball fan, right? So recently there's been a rumor going around that the LA Lakers might be trying to steal Raptors head coach Nick Nurse from Toronto. Would you care to comment?
This is where I might get in some hot water because first of all, I want to lay it down that I love Nick Nurse and I'd want him to stay and it's Raptors before anyone. But I'm a huge LeBron James fan. So it's not like Nick Nurse is going to like the Pistons. So I'll still, when I'm cheering for LeBron to get as many rings as he can get before he retires, at least he'll have the brilliant Nick Nurse on his side. But he's got to stay. He's with the Raptors. We work so well together. He's such a beast. We're having a great run. We kind of got duped out there at the end. But I think Nick's got to stay. But like I said, I'm kind of playing both sides.
Okay, well, the correct answer was no. But anyway, moving right along. Listen, no, I'm just kidding. I would say, listen, I think if LeBron wanted to win more rings, he should come to Toronto. If any superstar out there would come to Toronto right now and slot it into the team that they have right now, Nick Nurse makes every single player better because he's got a basketball program and not just a bunch of players. He's got a program. And man, if LeBron came, he would have 3 more rings. I guarantee it.
It's that Kawhi.
He's not going to win anymore.
Kawhi's phenomenal, but he slid into the deepest team he's ever played on. Like the bench was winning against. Like, so that's the same thing Kawhi did. If anyone could come to Toronto, wink, wink, LeBron. If you happen to be watching this, we've already got a phenomenal team, and then Nick Nurse would just, like you said, make them all better.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I hope LeBron, if you're listening, we love Space Jam 2, right? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. He was watching Vicious Fun. We were watching Space Jam 2. It's good. This is great.
Awesome. Okay, so that's the end of our rapid fire questions. Thanks so much for being such a good sport. Of course, rapid fire is brought to us by Wellington Brewery's Hellas Lager. Pick up some tins wherever you pick up your adult beverages in your local bar, pub, or whatever. Go to the LCBO if you're in Ontario, or your local liquor store if you're outside of our province, at least. So, okay, so we're just going to take a quick commercial break. Evan, are you good enough to stick around for a few extra minutes on the other side?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back after this.
Black Fawn Distro. Movies, merchandise, available now at blackfawndistribution.com.
Okay, and we're back with actor and the star of Vicious Fun, Evan Marsh. Evan, thanks so much for sticking around. We really do appreciate you making the time for us today, which is, of course, Vicious Fun Day, Vicious Fun, boom, Blacklist edition, boom, regular edition. They're all available at blackfawndistribution.com. Check out our online store, or you can pick up a copy at your local Sunrise Records or Cinema One location, or wherever else you pick up cool movies. It should be in there as well. So let's just get to a couple of comments here. Just before we kick off the second half here, but we've got Mike Taylor just saying very talented actor. Of course, Mike is I'm assuming talking about you. We're not sure which actor you're talking about, Mike, but let's just assume it's you, Evan. I don't know if that's a friend of yours or
we go way back. He was in I want to say Scarecrow. Was that what? And I believe I think it was associated with Black Fawn. Am I crazy here?
Scarecrows. Oh, okay. Oh, Mike.
Yeah, Mikey boy. Mike, that's Mike right there.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Awesome.
I pay him to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, well, that sounds like such a believable backstory that nobody would ever question the payment, right?
Yeah, exactly. I had to live with him for a year or two just to make it real.
And of course, in a quick comment here from our good friend Chad Archibald. Good to see you, Evan. Always good to hear that what you've been up to. Been a good show so far. Thanks for checking in, Chad. Appreciate it. Can't do anything by myself apparently. Make sure you don't blow it in the second half. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I'll try not to. Appreciate it. Always good to have you watching over my shoulder. No pressure at all. Of course, this is live TV or live to air to the internet, to Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. If you got any extra comments, throw them down in the comment section below, and give us a like and a share. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. If you're listening, it helps us out and also helps out our guests as well. So let's get into a couple more questions, and then I'll let you go for the evening if you're cool with that. But listen, I mean, you've worked on a bunch of projects over the last couple of years. You're like we established earlier, you're a working actor, obviously looking at a variety of different projects. What do you have coming up in like the rest of this year and maybe beyond? And what are you excited for coming out?
I'm excited for a few things. A couple, I don't know what I can quite say about it, but what I can say is there's a really cool project I worked on out west in Victoria that's coming Netflix. It's at like a Halloween series. So it comes in October, but Air Bud, obviously.
Yep.
It's in the Air Bud world, Air Puppy world, and it's called Phantom Pups. And it's this show about these kids that are trying to save their dogs these puppies they met to turn them back to real instead of ghosts. and me and my sister play the antagonists who are trying to catch them to win the $1 million ghost prize. So it's very silly. It's very fun, very childish, and I'm excited for that. So that comes out in October to Netflix. And I just wrapped this new anthology project called Accused, based off the British series created by Howard Gordon, who like created Homeland and 24 and stuff. And I did an episode on that. So I have no date to give for that, but those are two that I know I can talk about out loud. And
Awesome.
The other ones you just have to follow along.
And the other shows that you've worked on previously, like Working Moms and Northern Rescue and stuff, is your role reoccurring? Have you ended your tenure with those shows, or always a possibility?
Northern Rescue kind of just did one season, and
right.
So that one is done. Working Moms, I think, is coming back for another season. I haven't fully heard yet, but I've heard some things. And then I can't help but think that Joseph and Jacob Zielinski make an appearance on Working Moms again. So that's something I look forward to, because that's been one of my longest runs as far as season-wise on shows, like reoccurring, and it's such a fun cast. I mean, Catherine Reitman is a brilliant to watch work, brilliant to. She'll be there on a day that she's not. I mean, obviously as the creator, but she's not in any scenes or anything, and she'll be throwing in like, "Oh, you should try that," and it's like so good, and I'm like, "Thank you." So I hope I'm back on that for sure.
Awesome. And any and do you have and my last question for you was like do you what do you prefer doing? Like, do you prefer doing feature films or more television, or I mean, like, maybe that's just kind of like picking your favorite kid, I guess. But like, I mean, or what's the difference between the two as far as like, how you approach both jobs?
It's kind of like the feature film is like the oldest kid, because it's there and then, but it can be gone and you're done with it. Whereas the really
he can really move out.
Yeah, get out of here. Come on, what are you, 18 already? And then the like really good TV series that keeps you engaged, if you're talking the way, Breaking Bad and stuff has changed TV, that's like your youngest, where it's your baby and it can be at home longer because it's longer. Then the middle child's just like basic TV, if that makes sense, like reality TV. So it's like you said, it's like picking your favorite child. I love them both equally. Feature films, when I first started, were more my thing because I liked being able to do it like this one and walk away from it. Mm-hmm. But there's something about the experience that like a long running TV series has, and the family it creates, and the memories, which are certainly longer than maybe like 6 weeks on a film set for a feature.
Fair enough. And besides that, let's not talk about movies or anything like that for a second, but what else are you looking forward to in general in 2022? Now that we're it looks like we're back to
coming through the
2019. Like I said earlier, like I sit around sometimes and I'm like, I don't even know when shit happened. Did it happen in 2021 or 2020 100%. Or 2019? Oh. Like I don't know.
That was 2012.
Yeah, it's like 3 years ago. I saw a thing with so I don't know. Is there something in particular that you're looking forward to doing this summer or this fall?
I mean, my realistic answer is just a bit more back to normal, and it's just like I'm excited for. I've been hanging out in situations now that just don't, like, you actually realize you had a whole day. And it didn't feel like, oh, we're doing this quick and put your mask on. And it just feels like we're getting back to something. And then the people too. And it just feels like there's like a sigh of relief and just openness to be doing things and going and seeing. Like, I just saw Glorious Sons, and it was just like, this was so, I missed this. I missed the energy that this brings the world. It's like, I missed it. So that's mostly what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I just went to the Jays home opener a few weeks ago, and it was like it was awesome.
Yeah,
just because it was like, oh yeah, we used to do this all the time, and just kind of we were talking about the movies, like going to a movie together, and just like having that kind of cathartic sort of experience with a bunch 100%. Of people you don't know is.
Did you go see Batman in theaters?
Yeah, I did.
And that had that same vibe to me, where it was like, oh, this is.
Yeah, we went. Me and a buddy went on. I saw it twice. And me and my buddy went to see it like Thursday night, like opening night, because I was like, I don't want to see any spoilers or anything. I just feel like it's going to get ruined online, which is how everything gets ruined nowadays. But yeah, it was pretty fantastic. Like I hadn't seen like a big kind of like atmospheric movie.
Yeah,
I guess maybe the last movie I'd seen like that was probably Dune. So but just on the big screen, like it wasn't a packed theater, but it was, it was busy enough, and it was just cool to see something brand new and big and like I said, atmospheric and sort of like that vibe was cool. Like it felt like you're going to see a big popcorn movie. And I mean, I love like everyone that comes on this program, like we all love movies, right? So it's
not always a big movie guy myself, really.
Yeah. I work in them just because I work at the grocery store doesn't mean I like groceries.
Yeah, I prefer Scrabble.
So, but I'm kind of looking forward to that too, and it'll be interesting to see where things go. I mean, I think the streaming thing is sort of like it's funny. Not to go, I just want to talk about this, to be honest, a little bit, because my sister once said, coffee shops will always exist because no matter how bad the economy gets or anything, it's just something for people to do, right? Something cheap. You go out for coffee. Well, it's only like a couple bucks, right? Like you don't have to go out for a steak dinner or whatever. So there'll always be like a purpose for those places to exist. And I think movie theaters are the same way. And I don't think they get enough credit for being that, but going to a movie, I mean, tickets are still like $15, but still like, I mean, you like a couple people can go to a movie, whether it's a buddy or if it's, a partner, wife, husband, whatever. And you spend like, $30-$40 popcorn stuff, and it's still a good time out. And for me, I started going to the movies sometimes. Like I sometimes even pop up just by myself because I just wanted to go do something. I just wanted to get out of the fucking house. Like it's like I just want to go. I just want to walk somewhere, then watch something I don't know what it's going to be, and then
it's also a fun experience. It's a fun. Like I'm a big golfer, and you don't really ever think of golfing alone, but it's the same thing. I don't go to the movies alone often. I don't golf alone often. But it's a whole different experience when I do, because I just go and now I'm doing that. Like usually when I'm away filming, when I'm filming abroad, I tend to see movies by myself. It's something to do. I just landed here. Oh, I want to see that. That's been gone for a little bit as far as that feeling. But it's just, I agree with you 100%. It's being there, and it's part of, it's not about what it costs. It's the experience.
Yeah. And I went like right when, see, again, I can't remember, whenever Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out.
Yeah.
So nobody wanted to go and see it with me.
2018, 2019,
2018. Yeah,
because he won the best actor. Brad won the best actor right before COVID happened. So that's
right. So, and I went there, and nobody wanted to go, and I was just like, fine, I'll just go by myself. And it was like a super hot day in the summer, and I remember going to the movie theater, like it was like a 12:30 screening, and I got a big ass popcorn and a big ass like fountain pop.
Yeah.
And like M&Ms or whatever. Like I loaded up, and I just sat there for 2.5 hours, and there was like 6 people in the theater maybe. And I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like air conditioned, like nice and comfy. And it was like, I was like, maybe I'll start doing this all the time. And then, I
watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think 3 times in theater. That's how much that was. And that's an example of such a movie. You could go see your Batman or something. Oh man, that movie was such like a ride. And I don't watch anything. So doing research after, I found out that there was like the spoiler before that movie was even made, that it was a Charles Manson movie. So Quentin was upset about that. So then there was a lot of people that saw it and were like, well, that's it. We got of Charles. He was brilliant. And I'm like, I didn't know any of that going in. So it was just all new. It was all fresh. And I thought that was one of my favorite movies in a long time, actually.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say it's Tarantino's horror movie. But isn't necessarily, I mean, there's a lot of scenes in that it kind of speak to that a bit, but more, obviously it's his love letter to old school Hollywood, probably more so. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just like going to see movies sometimes that I like. I'm excited to see a movie where I don't know what the hell happens. Like,
right.
And I like superhero movies, and I go see most of them, and I own most of them on 4K and Blu-ray and whatever. Right. I do love them, but I do like going to see films where I'm like, I have no idea where this film is going to go. And I have no idea. Like, I like original content. I think that's something I'm hopefully.
And that's why I try to watch less trailers, like on new things.
Yeah.
For me, if okay, this movie, has Chris Pine and Jeff Bridges, that'll sell it because I respect their body of work so much. I'll see what they do. Worst case, it's terrible, but most of the time it's not. A lot of the time, especially because you're not spoiled, and like you're saying, something you don't know that's going to happen. It's such a great experience to just be like the way scripts are written. And I always use Split as an example with James McAvoy. When they've been kidnapped and they're looking through that eye hole and you see the girl's legs and you hear the voice that's pretty spot on for a girl's voice. That script was being written in a way that you're supposed to be like, there's a girl in there with him too. If you've just watched every trailer and everything, you just know it's James McAvoy. You know it's one of his personalities. Yeah. And it's like a lot of the time the scripts are done in a way that's supposed to surprise you, and then the trailer fucking blows it. So
quick story. I went to see that movie with Chad. And because we were like, let's go see the new M. Night movie, right? Like, who cares? Mm-hmm. And the unbelievable how after all these years, like M. Night still pulled a twist, like at the end of that movie that I didn't even see coming. Which I was like, I remember I hit Chad. A lot of hitting when we go see movies, I guess. But like, I hit Chad.
Really bruised up after these movies.
I for some reason had just watched like Unbreakable, or I was listening to the Unbreakable music. I listen to a lot of soundtracks when I'm working because there's no lyrics and stuff, and you kind of get to the mood and whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I was and when they started playing the Unbreakable music, I hit Chad and I said, dude, it's fucking Unbreakable, and he's just like, what? I was like, that's the Unbreakable music. Why?
Oh wow!
And then they do that.
Kind of saw that coming in before you see Bruce.
Yeah, and then they peeled through, and I was like, "There's no way they're doing this." And then they pan through the diner, and and there's Bruce Willis, right? So, and then some old ladies behind me were just like, "Who's that?" And you're like,
"Stop hitting him!"
Yeah, too much to explain. Anyway, man, listen. Enough of me yabbering on. Thanks so much, man, for doing this. I appreciate it. I'll let you go.
You know what I will say? The news intro before you put on your jacket and everything, that beat slapped. I don't know what beat that was, but the beat that news intro comes in on, it was like I was rocking to that pretty hard. Thanks, can you turn it on really quick again for like 5 seconds?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Just because it's you and just because it's Vicious Fun Day, I can do that.
Yeah.
So here we go, guys. By request tonight. This is a little quick. Do you want me to play the whole thing, or you just want to play a clip?
Whatever you want, brother. I just want to hear it again.
It's 1 minute long, so we'll play the full thing and then we'll come back.
Minute.
Okay,
I got a minute.
We'll be right back after this. Here's the news beats.
Top story. Top story. We'll give you the world. We'll give you the world. This may be the most important decision of your life.
Can't stand the heat. Stay out of the kitchen.
Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
You can't stand the heat. Stay out of the kitchen.
Top story.
And remember, we care. We care. There are certain inherent risks that come with the territory.
Top story. Top story. We'll give you the world.
Top story.
Okay, and there's the beats. And
it feels like you want to rap on it, like it's sweet.
Those beats were actually provided. It's a guy. His name's Ben Living. He's from Louisiana, and he does a bunch of like beats for like he does his own stuff with old school horror themes. So he does like Evil Dead and Halloween, and he remixes them and puts his own beats behind them too. So I really loved his stuff online on Instagram. I'll shoot you guys link because his stuff is awesome. And I just reached out to him. I was like, dude, you want to do like our news intro? And we've got this idea of like maybe using some of the samples from RoboCop. And he was like, yeah, man. So that's where that came from. But
shout out to Ben Living because it was awesome.
Thanks, Ben. All right, so listen, I'm gonna let you go, man. We're into overtime right now. I've kept you way longer than I'm supposed to, so I do apologize for that,
brother.
But, that's how this show works. Listen, for anyone who wants to reach out to you or get in touch, how can they do so if they're looking to do that?
I get a lot of people that reach out and compliment Vicious and stuff through my Instagram, which is Evan11, and I mean, I don't use a whole lot more. I barely use that. I'm not really on social much. I try to stay present and off of that, but I see things. So if you wanna, if you wanna try to reach out to me, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, sounds good. And of course, if you're looking to get in touch with Black Fawn Distros Takeover Tuesday or have a recommendation or a comment on the program, please drop us a line at takeover@blackfawndistribution.com or hit us up on Instagram at Black Fawn Distro or any of the other social media platforms. It's all the same handle for everything. So in that respect, I think we're done. Again, make sure you go pick up Vicious Fun. It's available through our store at blackfawndistribution.com. as well as through Sunrise Records, Cinema One, Unobstructed, View, and anywhere else that you buy cool movies. It's available on Blu-ray. Of course, if you get it quickly, you'll get the retro sleeve, but these will sell out quickly. And then you'll just be left with the other version of the film, which is this one. But of course, you'll get them both if you order the Blacklist. And of course, those ones come signed and a bunch of other stuff, including character cards and chopsticks and the Bob Neese Chameleon Kit. So other than that, that's all we got for you tonight. Of course, this is being Black Fawn Distribution's Takeover Tuesday, broadcasting live to Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. My guest tonight, Evan Marsh, star of all kinds of stuff, but specifically, most importantly tonight, Vicious Fun.
Yep.
Sir, thank you so much for joining the program. Stick around as we just after we go off the air. I just want to catch up a little bit more before I let you go. But thanks so much for carving out the time out of your schedule, and we wish you all the best in 2022. Sorry, there we go. 2022 and beyond. I know you got a lot of projects coming up, and I hope they're just as successful as everything else you've done in the past. So thank you very much.
I appreciate it, buddy. I had a lot of fun on here. Thanks for asking me on.
No problem. Okay, well, until next time, I'm Benner from Black Fawn Distro, and we'll talk to you soon. And that does it for another episode of Black Fawn Distro's Takeover Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, please remember to like, follow, share, and subscribe, and help us spread the word about the program and our incredible guests. If you're interested in grabbing some more information about Black Fawn Distribution or want to check out our film titles and merchandise, you can find us online at blackfawndistribution.com. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Wellington Brewery's Hellas Lager, Deadly Grounds Coffee, Twisted Teas, and of course, Black Fawn Distribution. Just a reminder, you can always catch Black Fawn Distro's Takeover Tuesday live on Facebook, YouTube, and our other social media platforms. Or pick up one of our retransmissions on any of the major streaming platforms. Until next time, I'm your host Benner from Black Fawn Distro, and we'll see you soon.